you get engaged, and then from the point you get engaged to the point you get married, how many days was that?
I got engaged on the 1st of April and I got married on the 30th. Everyone thought I was pregnant.
You actually go from just being a normal woman to being married and now becoming pastor's wife.
And then he left me.
And then you kind of got married and then... Welcome to Her Season podcast. I am so excited to have you here. This is our first episode and I'm excited to have someone, the first ever guest actually, and she is amazing. She's an amazing woman. She is a wife. She is a mother. She's the founder of Brazen Beauty Aesthetics. She is a pastor. She is a woman of God and a missionary. So welcome to Her Season podcast.
Thank you. Just having you say all of that is like...
Who even is this?
What?
But that's who you are. That's who you are. And I'm really excited. Thank you for being on this podcast. And I'm so excited for this conversation. I have lots in store for you that you don't even know.
Give me my car keys.
But the reason for this podcast is it's a limited edition. It's an exclusive podcast because there's an event. I'm hosting my event on the 7th of June at the Voco Hotel in Leicester. And this is all about bringing women together. It's about empowering women to live and do the purpose that God has called them to do, fulfill that God-given purpose, whether it's starting a business, whether it's having a family or getting married or, you know, stepping into the next part of your career, whatever it is, this is the platform and the space to just come, be encouraged, be inspired, be motivated. And I'm going to be bringing on some of the speakers who are speaking at the event, just so you can get a feel of what is going to be happening at the event. There is the description and the link in the description below. So go ahead and get your tickets. So before we get started and I asking you all of these questions, I'm going to ask you some icebreaker, light-hearted questions. Light-hearted.
Heavy on the lights.
But the first one is, what was the last thing you ate?
Chocolate.
What kind of chocolate?
I had Milky Way.
Ugh.
I know. It was, you know, the celebration. Yeah.
These are the
I
things
don't
that
even like celebrations.
They're not
but
Maltese are the ones that are nice in the.
I don't even like celebration, but it was
not even the Maltesers. Oh my gosh. Okay.
No.
If you could wear one thing for the rest of your life, what would that one thing be, or the outfit?
What I want to say. I don't even like clothes that much.
Just get rid of the whole thing.
Let's get rid of the whole thing. What would I wear? Pajamas.
I like that. Comfort over everything.
Comfort.
What was the last thing you bought?
I don't know.
You didn't buy anything?
Oh, we just come from holiday. Yeah. So what did I buy for the holiday?
Kids' clothes doesn't count. Kids' clothes does not count as the last. Okay, what's the last thing you bought for yourself?
Bathing suit. For
the beach?
Yeah.
I like it. Okay. Yeah. And if you could name, now I'm going so rogue, so off script.
Oh,
if there was a book written about you, what would the title be?
Fight for the faith.
Fight for the faith. Okay. And I'll ask you about that later. And then the last question is, what did you want to be when you were older?
What did I want to be? I knew I wanted to have money and I wanted to be in comfort. What that was, I knew it would be something to do with beauty.
Really?
But I didn't know what about beauty. I knew it would be beauty because I did a lot of things in beauty. I used to do hair, I used to do like nails and things. So I knew it would be something to do with beauty.
So you always knew?
I always knew.
Always. Like from what age?
I don't know. I can't even remember. I just remember knowing that I wanted to have my own boutique. I wanted my own salon.
Really?
I knew I wanted things that didn't involve me doing.
I find that so interesting because I always think about people like Serena Williams and people always think like, how did they know that they were supposed to do that thing? But from a young age, you have like interest or you have like a desire or something. You don't know what it is, but you just have a thing. So how then, from knowing at a young age that you wanted to do something with beauty, what was then the journey? Did you practically go out and look for beauty things, or did
No.
you just...
No, I didn't actually. I went the nursing route.
Wait, sorry. How did you go from I want to do beauty to then do nursing?
Because I think it was the whole... So as a child, I was doing beauty things. I was working. People would come to my house. I'll be relaxing their hair. You know, when
You've never touched my hair. Sorry, you've never even done my hair.
Because
even when I did know you, you've never done my hair, and I didn't even know you did.
It's by force. It's by force. So, my mind, what I would think, I would be like, is this all that there was? Is that the ceiling? And I wanted more. I knew I wanted to care for people as well. And then when we were here, my parents would be like, there's a nursing route. I didn't have like something that would push me, like, this is what you want to do. And when I would look at beauty, I didn't think it had much money in it. And I knew I wanted money. I didn't want to suffer. I like nice things. I like nice things. And I knew I just didn't want to suffer. And I didn't want to depend on other people. So I went the nursing way, and my dad would be like, I remember my second year, I was like, I'm done. No, I don't want to do this. This is not for me. It's like, just keep pushing. And then I'm glad you pushed me, because I love nursing. It has its ups and downs, but I do love nursing. And that's all I'm going to.
And at that point when you were doing nursing, were you doing anything like beauty related?
Not really, no. I will still have people come to like, then ask me to do hair, and especially Carol. She'll come and ask me to do hair, and I'm like, no. And I'll still have people would come and ask me to do hair. I remember if I wanted like spare cash, I'll do like my friend Christine, and they'll come and I'll just be doing the hair.
Okay. So from a young age, you knew you wanted to do something beauty related.
Yeah.
You then go into find yourself into nursing, and you complete your nursing degree.
Yeah.
And then what did you do?
And then I did nursing. I was just doing nursing. So that was like how many years? I qualified in 2012. So I was doing nursing, and then I met my husband, and then we became missionaries.
No, sorry, you whispered that bit, sorry.
I knew that.
You can't just like gloss over.
Well, I actually met my husband while I was at uni. And then I knew he was a man of God. I didn't think I was going to get married to him, if I'm going to be. I remember telling him, this is not, it's just for now. And then.
No, sorry. Yeah. We're going to do, can you tell?
Yeah.
You got engaged, right? Okay.
Okay, but you have to bear in mind we'd been dating for like 4 years at this point.
Yeah. Okay. So you got engaged. How long before we even talk about being a missionary? Okay. So after uni, you're working, whatever. You meet your husband. He's not your husband at the time.
Yeah.
You get engaged.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then from the point you get engaged to the point you get married, how many days was that?
So I got engaged on the 1st of April. And I got married on the 30th of April.
In the same year, in the same year.
Actually, my traditional was the next day. So engaged on the 1st, traditional was the 2nd, and the 30th.
In the same year.
Everyone
never heard about
thought
that.
I was pregnant.
I've never, literally, do you have anything? I've never heard about that.
No.
You got from engaged to married in a month. Why?
Was the thing. He was going to move to Nigeria. He had been appointed to go to Nigeria.
That's where the missionary. Where the
missionary came in. So
actually, no, wait. What's a missionary? What?
So we plant churches. Yeah. So we go out there and we help other people. We help the people who are less disadvantaged, people who don't know God. So we found I remember when we went to Nigeria, a lot of people, they believed in God, but most of the people, they kind of see him as a genie. So I remember somebody saying, so what does your church do here? What does it do here? Do you do prophetic, or do you do, is it just a word or fire prayers? What do you do? And we're like, everything. And like, no, you have to have one thing so we can come. So if one day, if I want to come to this church for prayer, I'll come for prayer.
And then go somewhere else for the prophetic, and then go somewhere else for something else.
Exactly. So when we went there, my husband went as pastor. He didn't go as in his office of prophet. He went as a pastor.
You got married to a man of God.
I don't know how that happened.
You got married to and he's a man of, he's a man of God.
I told you, I don't know what he did.
Okay.
I tried very, very much to stay away from him.
So you get married. No,
Yeah.
you get engaged, and then 30 days later, you get married.
And then 2 weeks later,
He goes to.
yeah, I think it's a week later actually. Yeah.
You actually go from
Yeah.
just being a normal woman ish to
yeah.
being married and now becoming
Yeah. And
pastor's
then he left
wife.
me. And then he left me.
And then you kind of got married, and then he went to Nigeria,
yeah.
and then you are now Mrs. Pastor. Mein Fundis.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a story. Like that is a story in itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember even like the separation between friendships, but that happened just before, I think. I remember because now I was going to Nigeria was different, and whereas my friends at this point they were still wanting to party, and at this point I had to take my faith seriously. So I remember the way that God brought me, like bring me to, it's not even par, to bring me somewhere to be able to go to Nigeria. He had to work on me really fast. So yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah.
And what is that? Because a lot of people really glamorize or want.
Oh no, it's not.
They want like the people you don't even know. People glamorize this whole like, oh, I want to marry a man of God, or I want to marry a pastor.
That was never me.
Or I want to like go and do missionary work. But actually, like, can you?
No.
What is life like as a pastor? But not even before you get to a pastor in your own right. What is life like as a pastor's wife and a missionary? Because I think like that's like, I don't really know many missionaries like that.
To be honest, I had to come into terms very quickly. But I think this happened more when we were dating. That God is always going to be first in my relationship. He's always going to be first. He's always going to choose God first, and then I come. So that was my basic. If I didn't catch that at the beginning, it was going to be a struggle for me. I remember even when we were there the first year, I remember thinking, no. No, I was very independent.
Bear in mind, you gave up your like
that's
you,
what I'm
you
saying.
gave up your job.
Very, very
you gave up
independent.
everything, and you went to Nigeria as a pastor's wife,
and
I
wasn't earning anything. I was just there as
having been working your whole life.
My whole life.
Wow.
So that was very difficult for me because I was very independent. And for me to go and be like, please, can I have some money for this? It was something I had to adjust to very, very quickly. And the timetable was it was harsh. It was hard. But do you know what? God gives you the grace. It gives you the grace to get through it. It's only when I look back and I think, how did I manage to do that? But I needed the grace to get through it. To be honest with you, there was hard times because it was first year of marriage, obviously. And I had to come to terms of submission and not being independent woman, getting my own things. But it brought us together. I think if we didn't go through that, I don't think we would have been able to make it. It really brought us together. And when you think, I think everywhere he is, I am, that kind of thing. And I grew, and he taught me the word. He taught me who God is. He taught me the relationship. And that time in Nigeria, I enjoyed it. It's when I came back, I'm like, oh, why? And then went to a different mission.
Your life is literally mission, like quite literally missions. How do you navigate knowing that at any point you can't really like set routes, because at any point God will say, I need you here, or I need you here, or I need you here.
This is why I needed my own business. This is one of the reasons why I started with Brazen Beauty, because I need to be able to just get up and go. And God gives you the grace. He shows you, you usually know when it's time to leave. I remember when I was in Scotland, I knew something was about to happen. I just knew. And things you'll find, he makes ways for you. I remember just when we knew now we were coming back to Leicester, just finding my place. It didn't take long. And I said, Lord, if I'm going, I want somewhere very, very central, like maybe in town. I even said, I want London Road. I remember we were driving with my mother-in-law, and she said, oh, you'll get this. She's also my apostle.
Wow.
So, and she declared that I will get a place in London Road. And I think it was literally a week later. And I'm like, Mom, Mom. And even for the amount that I pay for, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And the things, all my equipment, it was very easy. It was very easy to change from Scotland to here. But obviously there's some things that you think, and I miss friends, I miss the attachment, but you just get used to it. You just get used to it.
And at the point where you were doing, when you were in Nigeria, were you doing any like beauty things like at that point?
I started, what did I start?
You did my
yeah.
my
Do you call it a boutique?
Bridesmaids dresses.
Yeah. Even your wedding dress, your second one.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I said you pray. I don't know what you do, but
yes. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So we did. Yeah.
Both of them. You just did two. You surprised me with the second one actually.
Yeah. You changed 3 times.
I changed 3 times.
Yeah. So it was the second one, and then the last one was a surprise. Yeah. And then, I remember I would be going in the markets, and my baby at this point, she was like 4 months. And they would be like, because she's a lot lighter than me, they would think I'm like carrying someone else's child, and they're shouting at me in the street. But it was an experience.
But how did you know to do the boutique?
I'm not very, I need to do things with my hands.
But how did you think, all right, I'm going to start doing this?
As I said, when I was younger, I knew I wanted some sort of beauty salon. I wanted a boutique. I wanted a spa. So I knew that. And then I remember even writing the vision down before I went to Nigeria. So when I was in Nigeria, it was the time for me to do it. And I feel like God was showing me, was directing me. I keep saying God, but this is how I live. I literally live by direction. And I remember he just directed me to the Gold called Andrea, and she was like, I can make the dresses for you.
Wow.
I'll do it for you. And I love this girl. I just met her in the streets.
Wow.
And then she was doing everything for me. She's the one who ended up doing the dresses and doing everything. Yeah.
You said,
not just the middleman.
You said something really interesting. You said, I live by direction. What does, because some people ask, how do I hear God? How do I hear from God? Is it me? Is it my own thoughts? Is it my own voice? Like, how do I know that God is speaking? And how do I know that I'm hearing God and it's not like the pizza that I just ate, or it's not like the devil?
See, for me, it's the still voice where I find peace. So if I'm like, keep thinking about it and it keeps coming up, and then I know something is off. But it's just stillness, the still voice. And when I see it, I just know. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Like, if it's like pushy constantly, then I'm like, I have to think, why is it so pushy?
Suspect.
But if it's just still and it's just calm, and then I start seeing things working towards it, that's how I know.
But I feel like that also comes with cultivating a relationship with God. Like, I could be anywhere. I would know this is my husband speaking because we have a relationship.
Exactly.
I know when my child is screaming.
Exactly.
And like, when it's they're really crying, I know. When it's they're just whinging and moaning, I know. Because I have a relationship with them and we spent so much time. So sometimes it's difficult to know someone's voice if you don't spend time with him and you don't know his voice.
Literally.
So the only way to really know God's voice is spending time and building a relationship with him. There's no, and reading his word, that is literally his, like him giving you the Bible is his word, that's him speaking. And sometimes people want like the audible voice, like, hey, I am Jesus, I am God. But actually, like, God speaks through the word. He speaks through people. He speaks through in many ways, right? Okay, so you're in Nigeria, you've come back, you've started doing a boutique. God says, right, time to leave Nigeria now. Just when you're getting comfortable.
It's usually when now I'm like, you're
in the moment.
Money now.
You're in the element, you're doing this boutique. And then now it's time to come back. Not only come back, you now go to Scotland.
Opposite.
Complete opposite of hot Nigeria.
To freezing cold.
To freezing cold. How did you navigate that?
I don't think I wasn't. I struggled at the beginning. I remember when we went to see it, when we went to see Scotland. I don't know if I should say this.
Maybe without
It was just spiritually tense.
yeah. The atmosphere was
The atmosphere when we first entered was very tense, and I just remember thinking, I thought we came from like, it was hard, and then we went into Scotland. You're like, oh, this is a different ballgame all in one. Scotland is completely surrounded by waters, and for those who are spiritually, you can imagine the battles that we faced. So at the beginning, it was hard, but when God said, this is a place where I remember one of the promises was a lot is going to come out from Scotland, and the promises that he gave us, it made it easier for me to go there. That part made it easier, and each promise he said, they all came to pass. They all came to pass. So that part was easy, but spiritually,
that's
Scotland,
it kind of forces you to grow, right?
Oh yeah, I think, to be honest, for me, I think I grew mostly in Scotland.
Really?
People think Nigeria.
Wow.
Scotland, yeah. It took me, yeah.
So did you start? You started working again now in Scotland.
Yeah, now I was back.
You were back at work.
Exactly. So I'm working.
How was
that? And then I'm
pastoring,
and then I'm doing like Women of Honor Substance. I have a new baby now.
How did you navigate
have anyone.
that? Oh yeah, there's no support.
There's no support. Everybody else is back in England.
How did you navigate? Because now I feel like you'll be now comfortable. Because now you're not working, you're just doing the Lord's work. You're now doing your boutique, and now you have to go back to a work, like a job, like a job where you're not the boss. How was that going back into the swing of that? Things?
I immediately knew, like, no.
Like, this is not for me. No.
I immediately knew. Do you know what? I even like kind of eased into it. I remember just saying, I'll do Friday, Saturday nights. I knew. I said, this is not going to work. Because I remember I would be working Saturday night, and then Sunday I'm in church. I'm fully exhausted at this point.
Not only are you in church, you're not in church as a bench warmer. You're in church with your husband as you're running the church.
Exactly. And then witnessing programs as well. And then I remember my sister came at the same time. She came to live with us, and she's a lot younger than me. But when she came, she was really ill. Like, so now I was going into hospital literally 3 times a week with her. With a newborn. She wasn't a newborn anymore. She's 1 year old. A toddler. She was a toddler at this point. And my husband was trying to work as well. Because now we were full-time pastors, but it was us depending. So our household, everything, we're the ones who were paying. And you just kind of like, okay. When I think about that journey, I just think, intense.
And you're still young at this time.
Take me back to Nigeria.
Mind you, you're in your 20s. Like, this is all happening and you're in your 20s.
I got married when I was 24. 20s. And we're in Nigeria for...
You can reach there at 24 years old. That's crazy. Okay, so you get to Scotland. At what point do you think, I'm going to now start doing this whole beauty thing again? And where was Brazen Beauty birthed from?
Okay, so... Brazen Beauty, how was it birthed? Okay. So I just had my youngest child, and that was a whole physical battle in itself. And I remember just thinking, I was tired. I was weary. I was exhausted. And I remember my brother, he was like, you need to have a massage. You need to go and have a massage. I'm like, yeah. So he sent me money. I booked for my massage, and then I went. I remember just sitting there, and it was like a Kairos moment. And it was just like, I just knew. The love that I had before, it just kind of like, I said, this is what I want. The way that I was at peace, the way that I just knew. I'm like, this is it. I want other people to feel how I'm feeling right now. I want other people to just, even if it's just for like an hour, just that peace, I just knew. I remember, and that's how it birthed. I just, from there, I was like, God, how? So how do you want me to do this?
And how what did you, okay, so you have this encounter whilst you're getting a massage.
Yeah.
And then what?
Okay, so now confirmation started coming. I had not told anybody about it.
Wow.
I had not said it, but I just remember being in that moment and thinking, wow, I need this. This is it. And then I go out, and then a friend of mine, I'm like, Lisah, how come you don't start beauty things you like to do? I'm like, I've never told you. I've never told you that I like to do beauty things. So you'd be really good at it. You'd be good at it. I'm like, okay. And there's always 3 people that confirm. And then, so when that happened, I'm like, okay, now let me research. So I did my research, and I even asked the person who was doing my massage, how did you get into it? And then she kind of told me, you can go through, like, there's different ways you can go. There's the beauty route, practitioner route. But because I've already done nursing, it was going to be easier for me to start doing, like,
the same nursing you wanted to quit in year 2.
Oh, not in year 1. Year 2 was like, I'm finished.
It's like, okay, like,
I'm finished.
Wow. You actually needed it.
Yeah, I needed the nursing. And it just made it easier. So somebody actually paid for the first like the foundation bit for the Botox and things.
Really?
And I remember going there and I'm thinking, is this it? I'm not really looking to do Botox. I'm just kind of wanting to I just want to do the facials. I want to do the massages. And then when I went into it, it was an aha.
Like this is it.
This is it. This is it. And then from there, it was easy. It was just, people would lead me to different places. This is why you need men, because men will show you where to go. And God is not going to be the one who's like, go there.
Yeah, he'll use people.
But he uses men. That's why you have to be friends with people.
Yeah.
And they will direct you where to go. And honestly, my journey has been easy in terms of building my portfolio. But in terms of like, there's always going to be roller coasters in finances.
Oh, yeah.
Always going to be roller coasters. It's intense. But the passion for what you want to do, it has to be more. You have to really think, no, I'm going to do it. You can't do it if you just haphazard about it. It won't go anywhere.
So this is where we're going to end, because you need to be in the room on the 7th of June at the Voco Hotel in Leicester. We will dive deeper into what that journey looked like. How did Lisah go from having this aha moment, which was getting her massage, to I'm starting my own beauty and aesthetics business. So what is it that you do actually? Before we end, what do you do?
In the aesthetic?
Brazen. Yeah, Brazen.
So Brazen, my aim is to bring out natural beauty. So I do Botox, I do fillers. I tend to not do too much fillers because I don't want to change someone's face. I want them to look natural, but to still look beautiful. My favorite part that I do is a hairline, and like, so it's PRP hair, and just to bring the hair back. And I've noticed a lot of colored people, they suffer from hair loss a lot. So that's my speciality. I do hair a lot. And massages, because I need peace in my life.
And facials. Oh, yeah.
So I guess the facials and the massages, I do, probably they're my favorite, because at that point I'm just at peace. And it's just, sometimes I'm just praying, and it's my time, and nobody's rushing me. It's just, yeah.
And there is something, so like I've been to your, what is that studio? What do you call it? A clinic.
Yeah.
I've been to your clinic, and there is just so much peace. Like the moment you enter into that space, like there is something so healing and so therapeutic and so peaceful about it. Like, what is that? And how do you do? Because there's sometimes where you go somewhere and it's like, oh, I don't like the space here. But the moment I step into it, I'm like, wow, like I have I feel like my worries just melt away.
So for me, the reason why I created Brazen was for God. So I said, while I'm in this space, you have to be in this space. You have to send your angels to minister to the people that come into my places, which is why most of the people, when they come in, they feel at peace. I said, Lord, if I'm doing this, you have to be number one in this place. The reason why I'm doing this is for it to grow, so I can like help build missionary work and help provide for missionaries. So this is your work. Minister to the people that come in my place. Minister to the people. And it definitely happens. I don't think I've had any person who's come in and said, I'm not coming back. A lot of people who was it? One of the clients came. She's like, I literally just come here to be at peace.
I was about to say, I would literally I might not even need treatment. I could just sit here.
Literally,
Wow.
I think there was one point where she was coming every week. I said,
wow.
yeah.
Amazing. But you can feel it, like it's such a tangible like presence, like God's presence, and you can feel it. Like it's so, I don't know, it's just, I've never experienced that in a beauty and like aesthetic place ever. So yeah. Okay. So what would you tell somebody, maybe a woman who just wants more for their life? Maybe they're in a job that they don't necessarily like and they're asking themselves like, why am I here? Like what's the purpose of me being here? I'm not adding any value. I'm not really doing anything. Like what would you tell that person who doesn't know what they're born to do or what they're supposed to be doing? They're just feeling stuck or feeling unsure of their next steps.
Okay. I felt like that when I finished uni, even though like I was going out with my husband, and I felt like, what's my next step? I just finished uni. I'm going to do nursing, but it was not there. I felt stuck. And the only way that I was able to move forward for me was through God. Literally, if I didn't get direction from God, I was going to be depressed.
Yeah.
And then once I got my directions from God, it's always easier. There's men to help you have steps, help you. What are you doing?
I was trying to pause it before it does that long. Okay. So we're going to continue these conversations on the 7th of June. I'm like, I should really be a salesperson. I just marketing, really, sales and marketing. Not really. Not really. Am I? Maybe I receive it. We're going to continue these conversations on the 7th of June. We are talking real life things. Like, I don't like things that are like so fake. And this is a space to just like take off the mask. So sometimes we pretend and we try and like pretend like we've got everything together. But deep down, maybe you're hurting, or deep down, you're just unsure or you're uncertain. We're not keeping up appearances in this room. We're taking off the masks and actually trying to figure out, who am I? That's the aim of it. Who am I and what is God wanting me to do in this season? The name of the event is New Season. So by the end of the event, I want you to be stepping into your new season of whatever God is calling you to do or requiring of you. And I promise you, he will direct and order your steps. He will show you, he will equip you, and you don't even have to do it alone, because from the moment you enter that room, you have a community of women who are there to support, to encourage you, to motivate you. So you don't have to do it alone. So the 7th of June.
I'm excited.
We'll be continuing and going deeper into what it looks like, what this life of faith looks like, what it looks like to be used by God and to work with God and to collaborate and be his hands and feet on this earth. Thank you for tuning in and listening. Let us know in the comments below. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking? What are some of the challenges that you're facing that actually might help you if you're in the room on the 7th of June? Thank you for joining the podcast. It's been an amazing talk. And I'm actually just so excited for...
Only for you.
I'm so excited.
I can't wait.
I still can't believe you came. That's a story for another. I'm grateful to God to get her on a podcast, because yes. So thank you. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you for inviting me.